This ends now. Eventually, we're all gonna have to get back to work again, and go back to the office and face the whole world all over again. A day when we'll have to shave our corona beards, cut our corona hair, put on a shirt, and yes, even put on some pants. But today is not that day. When coronavirus is over, I think there are two fundamental aspects of society that will have changed forever. And it's about damn time, too. The first is education. Some of you parents are having to homeschool your kids for the first time, which means you are about now coming to the realization that your kid's probably not that smart and that you may have oversold the whole "you can be anything you want" speech. But once you get over that realization and get back to trying to remember what the E in bedness stands for, you may wonder why every child is required to know this instead of useful things like personal finance or how to think critically and independently. The answer is because modern education was designed about the same time that Henry Ford was revolutionizing the mass production of automobiles. Schools were designed in the same way that industrial era factories were 100 years ago.
Kids were grouped by ages, they were all given the same assignments, it was an assembly line mentality.
What we have at the moment is an education system that you listen to me and go into the exam and write down exactly what I've been saying and you get a good mark.
The former captain of the nuclear submarine, the USS Santa Fe, David Marquet, sums it up this way. We've been programmed by the Industrial Revolution to react in certain ways in certain circumstances. Programmed for the action, for the reduced variability, for the production line. The problem is those kinds of jobs don't exist anymore. And by the time your kids are looking for a job, it's unlikely that they'll be doing a repeatable task that a robot can be easily programmed to do.
It's absolute rubbish.
So let's talk about work then. By now you're probably starting to question some of the normal office, corporate BS conventions that you would have had to deal with over the last month.
Hey, it's Jason's birthday. Did you sign the card?
Not yet.
Oh, here.
To the J-Man. What you should be asking yourself is, why do you even have to go into the office every day? Here in Toronto, the average commute length is 1 hour and 36 minutes for an average commute distance of 10 kilometers. That's a worse commute than people in LA who never shut up about their traffic. The point is the average person here now has to spend an additional 3 hours to their working day just getting to work. That makes the working week not 40 hours that they're getting paid for, but 55 hours.
It's absolute rubbish.
So where did this idea of the 40-hour work week even come from? Not surprisingly, the answer is once again Henry Ford. But it wasn't the safety of the factory workers who built the cars that made Ford the richest man in the world. It was because Ford recognized that people needed time off to buy and use more consumer products. Ford said, leisure is an indispensable ingredient in a growing consumer market because working people need to have enough free time to find uses for consumer products, including automobiles. Working remotely is probably going to be a thing for a lot of people long after this corona thing is over. A New York Times article suggests more than 25% of employees to continue working from home multiple days a week. But working from home still wouldn't solve the 40-hour work week structure. Like we saw with education, not everyone is productive in the same way or at the same time. So we failed at making cookie-cutter students and turning them into cookie-cutter employees. If you're an employer who wants to get the best and most creative work out of your employees, then you should learn when and how your employees work best and put them in a position to do their best work. I'm just hoping that as businesses start to think about how they're going to reopen and what their office culture and dynamics are going to be like when everybody comes back to the office, that maybe we take that time to re-examine some of the things that are standards across the corporate world and maybe do away with some of the things that are just useless, and maybe we just start to do away with some of the things that are actually useless and in fact counterproductive to what the actual humans who are doing the work need. Happy work from home week, everybody. Hope you have a great one, and happy quarantine. Peace.